Mental toughness isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending life doesn't hurt. It's about standing firm when storms rage around you. It's about moving forward when fear, pain, or doubt whisper that you should quit. To be mentally tough is to train the mind like a muscle, disciplined, focused, and anchored to purpose. And no philosophy teaches this art better than Stoicism. Clarity and courage no matter what the world throws at you. This video is your guide to becoming that kind of person. Not flawless, not invincible, but resilient. We cannot change the weather, the economy, or the choices of others, but we can always choose how we respond. This is what Epictetus called the dichotomy of control, and it is the cornerstone of Stoic mental toughness. Where have you handed over your peace to the opinions of others? These are not weaknesses, they are invitations to mastery. Calm under pressure. When a Stoic is insulted, he knows it is not the insult but his interpretation that causes pain. When plans collapse, he reminds himself that disappointment is optional. This calm, grounded presence comes not from cold detachment but from disciplined understanding. The Stoic warrior's battlefield is not the world, it's within. Every true act of resilience begins with self-awareness, the ability to observe your thoughts without being ruled by them, to understand your values without bending to external pressure, and to know what is yours to control. Brave in chaos, and in that mastery, they become unconquerable. Grounded in purpose, he separates what he feels from what is real. And from this space of clarity, he strengthens his resolve. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion. Things not in our control include our body, property, reputation, and command. To be mentally tough like a Stoic warrior is to live each day with discipline. Let's begin. Know thyself, the inner fortress. Before a warrior picks up a sword, he first learns his own mind. This is the core of all Stoic strength. The Stoics taught that the only true freedom is internal mastery. We cannot govern what others say or do. Some things are in our control and others not. Epictetus, Enchiridion, what expectations leave you anxious or disappointed? To build your inner fortress, you must begin with deep honesty. What triggers you? What do you fear? The Stoic warrior trains by observing the self without judgment. He journals his emotions. He reflects on his mistakes without shame. Self-awareness is not passive. It is a weapon. Modern application. To begin your own training, start with a daily ritual of reflection. Each night, ask, what did I do well today? Where did I let emotions take over? What was truly within my control? This simple practice will begin to build the most important fortress you will ever command, your mind. The mentally tough do not seek to conquer the world, they master themselves first. Detach from what you can't control. The warrior's freedom. Every Stoic warrior knows the most dangerous illusion is control over what was never yours. The weather, people's opinions, outcomes, even your own body's health, these lie beyond the realm of command. The mentally weak exhaust themselves fighting what cannot be conquered, but the outcome never did. It's knowing that your effort belongs to you. The mentally tough learn the art of detachment not from carelessness, but from wisdom. Once you've done your best, your role is complete. Worry is wasted movement. Resentment is self-inflicted pain. Anxiety is a form of false control. The Stoic warrior releases what he cannot control not as a coward, but as a master. Detachment is not indifference, it's clarity. This is the path to peace. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. It's the ability to act with full strength and still accept any result. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal not for history, but for survival. In the chaos of war, betrayal, illness, and political scheming, he constantly reminded himself, it's not things that disturb us, but our judgment about things. A Stoic doesn't avoid pain or grief. He accepts it, looks it in the eye, and refuses to let it corrupt his peace. A job rejection, a broken relationship, a harsh comment, Did your reaction help or harm you? Did your emotions spiral over what was outside your reach? Mental toughness begins where control ends. Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Epictetus' modern application. Think of the last time things didn't go your way. Try this, because he knows you cannot be broken by what you never tried to control in the first place. Create two columns, within my control and outside my control. For every challenge, place elements in their rightful place. Focus only on what lives in the first column: attitude, effort, words, and response. He adjusts, accepts, and advances. This is your battlefield. This is your freedom. The Stoic warrior doesn't flinch in the face of misfortune. Mastering the mind in chaos. Turning adversity into advantage. Life will not spare you chaos. Tragedy will knock, failure will sting, and betrayal will cut deep. But a Stoic warrior does not crumble. He doesn't ask, why me? The ability to reframe pain into power, trial into training. Mental toughness isn't about being unaffected by the storm, it is about learning to see differently within it. He asks, how can I use this? This is the Stoic superpower, perception. When the world spirals, most people follow it. They react, panic, blame. But a Stoic knows the storm is external. Inside, there is still ground to stand on. And in that stillness, he reshapes the narrative. He asks, what is this teaching me? And test your discipline. Where the ordinary man sees a wall, the Stoic sees a weight to lift. Where is the opportunity to grow? The more you practice interpreting adversity through the lens of growth, the more untouchable your peace becomes. How would the best version of me respond? The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius. This single line captures the Stoic mindset in full. Obstacles are not detours. They are the path. They reveal your character, sharpen your focus. Mental mastery is not born in comfort, it is forged in fire. A soldier becomes strong under pressure. And so does the mind. Modern application. The next time something frustrating or painful happens, pause, don't react, instead, write this. Event, what just happened? Initial reaction. What did I feel or want to do? Stoic reframe. What opportunity does this moment contain? You will begin to notice a shift. Fewer outbursts, less regret, more clarity. Because you are not at the mercy of chaos anymore, you've trained your mind to use it. The Stoic warrior doesn't just survive the storm. He emerges sharper, calmer, stronger, because he knew it wasn't a curse. It was a classroom. Virtue over emotion. The Stoic discipline of right action. The Stoic warrior is not driven by moods. He is led by principle, while others are swayed by anger, fear, jealousy, or pleasure. The Stoic anchors himself to virtue, courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom. These are not abstract ideals. They distort perception. A Stoic feels every emotion, he simply doesn't obey them. He understands that feeling fear doesn't make you a coward, and feeling anger doesn't make you violent. What defines you is what you do next. They are the code by which he lives, especially when emotions scream louder than reason. Emotions are real, but they are not rulers. They rise. Seneca warned against being a slave to impulse. He believed the wise man anticipates the emotion before it takes hold. That is the heart of Stoic discipline, to pause, examine, and choose based on virtue, not reaction. He imagines scenarios where anger, jealousy, or despair may strike, and then rehearses his best response in advance. So when the test comes, he is already prepared. No man is crushed by misfortune unless he has first been deceived by prosperity. Mercy when vengeance tempts. This isn't weakness, it's moral strength. Seneca, what do I feel like doing? He asks, what is the right thing to do? Mental toughness is the ability to act with composure when the inner world trembles. It's choosing courage when fear rises, restraint when insulted. The Stoic doesn't ask. He trains for this moment daily through premeditation. Modern application. Try this habit each morning. Visualize one difficult situation you might face today: a rude colleague, a traffic jam, a moment of self-doubt. Ask, how would a Stoic warrior respond to this? Decide in advance what virtue you will practice. Then, when the moment arises, you're no longer caught off guard. You act not from impulse, but from inner command. True mental toughness is not just endurance, it is ethical strength. It is living with such discipline that no emotion, no insult, no temptation can move you from your code. The Stoic warrior doesn't merely survive life as tests, he uses them to prove the strength of his soul. Daily training of the will. Stoic rituals for inner strength. The Stoic warrior does not rely on motivation. He relies on discipline. Just as a soldier sharpens his sword before battle, the Stoic sharpens his mind every day with intention, reflection, and small acts of willpower. He knows that mental toughness is not born in the moment of crisis, it is trained in the quiet of routine. The ancients understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius journaled before dawn. Epictetus urged daily mental exercises. Seneca wrote letters to discipline his thoughts, not as a pessimist, but as a warrior preparing for the field. These weren't luxuries, they were weapons. But the trained mind executes, because when the test comes, the untrained mind panics. The Stoics' daily rituals are simple but powerful. Morning preparation. Premeditation. Begin each day by imagining what could go wrong. Ask, what difficulties might I face today? What virtues will I need to practice? What is truly within my control? He skips a meal, takes a cold shower, walks in silence, not for punishment but to remind himself, I am stronger than my cravings. My comfort does not control me. This is not negative thinking, it's mental armor. Epictetus walked barefoot. Why? To strengthen the will before life demanded it. Evening reflection. Self-examination with them. Your will becomes strong, flexible, and ready. At day's end, the Stoic looks back not with shame, but clarity. And what you build in private, you'll carry into every battlefield of life. He creates it through daily, deliberate training. Ask, where did I act with strength? Where did I fall short of my values? What will I do better tomorrow? Reflection turns failure into fuel. It is the forge of character. Voluntary discomfort. Hardship training. The Stoic trains by choosing difficulty. Seneca fasted on purpose, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, is this the condition that I feared? Set aside a certain number of days. Seneca. Modern application. Wake 30 minutes early to journal and plan your mindset. Reflect each night before bed, writing 3 sentences. Choose one minor discomfort daily. Skip sugar, walk farther, sit with silence. These are not chores, they are discipline drills. The Stoic warrior doesn't wait for peace to find him, because in the end, your will is your greatest weapon. Enduring pain without complaint. Building grit through voluntary hardship. Pain is inevitable, complaint is a choice. The Stoic warrior understands this difference, and he makes a vow, I will feel the pain, but I will not be ruled by it. I will carry it, not curse it. Stoicism doesn't deny suffering, it teaches how to endure it with dignity. In fact, one of its deepest lessons is this: pain is the greatest training ground for the soul. No Stoic becomes strong without it. His master twisted his leg until it broke. Instead of screaming or begging, so that it may not be disobedient to the mind, Epictetus calmly said, a hard workout, or deliberate silence. You're going to break it. Sleeping on the floor, go in without luxury. Not out of self-punishment, but to build grit. To remember they could live without what others feared losing. To train their will to be stronger than their appetite. And when the bone snapped, he merely observed, no one, not even life itself, can take your peace. The initial resistance is your weakness being exposed. The quiet after it passes, that is strength. I told you so when Epictetus was a slave. No, he was prepared. His pain had meaning. It was proof that no one could own his mind, no matter what they did to his body. Was he numb? The body should be treated more rigorously. Seneca. This is why the Stoics practiced voluntary hardship fasting. Modern application. You don't need to live like a monk to live like a Stoic. But you must challenge your comfort zone. Go a day without complaining. Skip a luxury you usually rely on: coffee, air conditioning, social media. Sit with physical discomfort, a long walk, then watch how your mind responds. You begin to see pain differently, not as a curse, but as a forge. Not as the end, but as your next lesson. The Stoic warrior does not whine, does not crumble, does not beg fate for ease. He looks at hardship and says, "You will make me better." Because once you learn to carry pain with grace, tactical calm, respond, don't react in battle. The first to lose composure is often the first to fall. The Stoic warrior knows that power lies not in the loudest voice, but in the quietest mind. In the face of insult, betrayal, or provocation, he doesn't react, he responds. There is a critical difference. Reaction is impulsive, emotional, often regrettable. He studies them, he names them, and then he chooses action guided not by fury or fear, but by reason. This is what Epictetus called prohairesis, the faculty of choice, the space between stimulus and response. Inside that space, the Stoic finds his power. Response is measured, deliberate, and rooted in virtue. The Stoic doesn't suppress his emotions. Make it your business to learn to be calm, and you will always be composed. A true Stoic views anger as a test of self-mastery. When insulted, he reminds himself, is this worth my peace? Is this worth my discipline? Almost always, the answer is no. Epictetus. Seneca, in his famous essay on anger, warned that anger is not strength, it is weakness dressed in fire. Mental toughness is revealed not when things go smoothly, but when they fall apart. Anyone can be calm when praised. The Stoic remains calm when attacked. Modern application. Start practicing the pause. When something upsets you, do not act for 10 seconds. Breathe deeply. Inhale clarity. Exhale reaction. Ask, what would a calm, wise version of me do right now? It allows him to lead instead of follow chaos. You'll begin to notice how rarely rage improves a situation, how often silence says more than shouting, how valuable your composure truly is. Tactical calm is not weakness, it's the Stoic sword. It keeps him clear when others lose their way. In a world that rewards outrage, the Stoic chooses stillness. In a moment of provocation, the Stoic chooses principle. Because true warriors don't flinch, lash out, or break. They stand in the storm and do not blink.